Hi, this is Beth Andresen with OIT. Today we'll talk about some of the differences on your new websites that you'll be editing in Sitecore. We'll also talk a little bit about why you're getting a new template. So if you're watching this video, you may have recently had your website upgraded or migrated into a new template. This is a project that we are doing. It's a multi-year project, and we are moving many of the websites on campus from an older template, which might look something like this, to a newer template, which may look something more like this. Some of the differences between the templates: the older templates use prior brand standards from SMU. This particular one was developed about 8 years ago. They have fewer mobile-friendly options for display. They're built with some older technology behind the scenes. And the newer templates take advantage of SMU's recent brand standard changes. We have some new colors, some different fonts available. We have more options for mobile layouts, and the new templates are also website accessible, which takes advantage of assistive technology and means that, for example, if somebody is using a screen reader to access your site, they will be able to get to the content more successfully. So for you as an editor, what does it mean to get a new template, and what's a little bit different? I am in Sitecore now, and you'll note it still looks like the same Sitecore that you've used before. But as I open one of the demo sites here, there are some differences right off the bat that you may notice. You may see some new folders, a global folder, some blue folders that are called local folders, and you may see some difference in icons. So briefly, talking about the top level of your site, you may have what we call a site landing page. And as I scroll down on the site, you'll notice some of the things that are a little bit different here. So we have the opportunity to set up the top navigation menu for your site. And if you are a coder or developer, we have some options down here that you may be taking advantage of. Outside of that, you may also see some red house icons and some white paper icons. The white paper icons represent a standard Sitecore page, and we'll look at an example of how that looks in a moment. The red house icons are department landing pages or section landing pages. And what's a little bit different about these from what you've had an option for before, if you do have this in your site, as I scroll down, there is a field in here that says sidebar inherits to all pages. That is a new feature, and what that means, so for example, on the OIT website, notice that there is this research consultation section here. Let's look at that in Sitecore. I have some code here, and this is building out that research consultation block. Because this is a section landing page, when I go back to the OIT site and I start to click around, we'll see that this item that I added to the sidebar, it inherits down to all the pages. So this is also useful in the HR site. For example, we have contact information that we want to show up on all the subpages. Previously, you had to know how to add that to each page, and you had to make sure that you added it to the right pages. So this is a way to add that information more quickly. We also have spots for banner images that inherit down to subpages. And if you are on one of these red house icons, you may also see an option to add different top navigation menus. So where we see some of that is on our Dedman College site. As we start to delve into some of the subpages, notice that this menu at the top changes from what we had before. We still have the Dedman College logo at the top. We still have the Dedman specific social media information up at the top, but we have a different navigation menu, and that's where that's set. The next thing I want to talk about is how editing a page is a little bit different from what you've edited before. So it still looks like Sitecore, but some of the things that we've changed on our new templates, the number of fields that you will be editing. Currently on the older templates, we call this the Project X templates, you have about 45 fields to consider, 45 spots where you can type things in. We've reduced this. The page is much shorter. You don't have to think about all the different spots where things could go or where they should go. And we also have renamed and reordered some of the information. So we used to have a title section at the top. We've scattered that information and renamed it with an eye for making it easier to see and understand. So the main page content is the most important part of your page. So we have the browser title here. If it's left blank, it will just grab what's in your page title. And if you leave your page title blank, you are going to get an error message. So you do need to have a page title. And we have our main page content. Let me show you how that looks. Here's the about our program, the main page content, and here's the browser title as well. As I keep scrolling down, I now have a section for internal notes. This is a new section. If you have something that you want an editor to know about your site or multiple people are editing the site, you can leave notes here. For example, I might say the images on this page should be 400 pixels wide. I can leave that. It's an internal note. It won't show up anywhere on the website. It's just something that I or somebody else working on the page might find valuable to know. The next thing we have is the redirect link. This is if you want the page to show up, for example, in a sidebar menu, but you want it to point somewhere else. This is where you would put your redirect link. And we have our alternative title fields here. On the older templates, these fields were located at the top. We've moved them into this navigation and display options. So the alternative title for the top navigation bar and breadcrumbs and sidebar menu, if it's a demo site, let's say I change this. Right now it says about our program. It's inheriting from the title, but I'm going to make this say about us, and this one I'm going to say about. Let me hit save, and I'm now going to publish my page. I go to review just as before, but notice that now I see the word direct approve. I no longer see the word submit. So this is one of the changes. It's in the same spot. It does the same thing, but I am going to direct approve my change. When I reload this, this no longer says about our program. It just says about. And now this is about us instead of about our program. So that's where I'm able to change those titles. I'm going to remove these. I don't want to change too many things. I also have the ability to hide the page from the navigation menus. So let's go ahead and reload the page and we should see it suddenly drop off. Yep, it's no longer showing up here and it's no longer showing up here. It still is a live page, or at this point it's a demo page, but I haven't added anything. The banner image, if you do use the banner image, will stretch across the top of the site. On the HR site, here's an example of a banner image. The banner images now, we have an option for them to be full screen, meaning they stretch all the way across, or if you want, there's an option here where you can say don't display it at full width. You can also hide a banner image. The banner images will inherit from parent pages. So there may be a case, for example, on the HR site where you don't want the banner image to show up for a subpage. So you have the option here to hide it. Then we get into the metadata for search engine listing. And this is really important for your top landing pages. And let me show you why. So if I go to Google and I search for SMU Human Resources, the text that shows up in a search engine, if it's not specified in this section, a search engine is going to look at the content on your page and take a guess at what it thinks it should show up here. You can control that. So if you type a description here, there is a limit. It can't be a super long description. And you can control the title that shows up here. This is where you're going to do that. We recommend that for your top level landing pages, you consider having something here that is a bit marketing related or gives an overview of your site. It's important. And you may not see it show up right away in a search engine. It may take about 2 weeks to get indexed, but it will show up if you add content. And the other thing here is more for developers or people who are writing specific code. So if there are things like scripts that need to be on your page, this is where they will go. Again, I'm ready to publish this page. So I'm going to hit direct approve, not submit. The submit option is gone. Um, that is one of the largest changes about your site. The other thing I want to cover is the difference between widgets and features. So let's look at this InfoSec landing page, and let me pull it up on my browser. This page has a slideshow at the top, so that's what we would call a feature before, a widget before. We're calling it a feature now. It also has some boxes down here, and it has an RSS feed over on the right side and the need help section. So this page has a lot of custom elements on it. In our newer templates, we refer to those as features, and they are no longer stored in widget folders. So this is a big change. If you are editing a page such as the HR department and you have tabs on a page, what you will do is you will go to the page that has the tabs. You'll open it, and directly below that you're going to see a blue folder that says local content, and the tabs will show up inside. We'll look at an example for the HR site in a moment. For this information security page, though, you'll see we have our slideshow, the RSS feed, we have the lead text that's at the top of the page, and in this case, those learn, protect, report boxes have been hand coded with some HTML behind the scenes. We also have a way to do that with some special features. So the way that you find these elements will be different from the way you found them before. And in fact, let's open up the HR site. I'm opening that demo site. So again, we have the difference in the icons here, the section pages. Working at SMU, I'll just briefly go. Here's where we have that can't find what you need information. And let's find a page that has tabs. So benefits and wellness has some special layout. Yes, so health and benefits is a site that does have tabs. And if you were going to be editing those, you will find them in a slightly different spot from before. There's not a widget folder. I've navigated to the page that has the tabs. I've opened the local content, and here are my tabs. You'll also note that the tabs are no longer in one big long list. They are separate. This is a new feature that we're proud to offer. What we've had in the past is sometimes people needed to delete a tab and then suddenly they had a blank tab or an accordion item, or they needed to rearrange things. This makes it a little easier to do that. Now, when you are editing these, you will lock and edit. And instead of going to publish, which you used to do, you are going to remain in this review tab and hit direct approve just like you do for a page. So you will not be hitting submit. You will not be going to publish. You'll be going to review and hitting direct approve. I'm going to scoot my Sitecore window over a little bit. This number says 2. Let me edit this, pull it out again, and hit direct approve. Notice this number went to 3. What this is doing, this is called a version, so we can see the different versions of this item that I've edited. The versioning for the special features is new, and what that means is in the past, if you made an edit to a slideshow or something custom on your site and you hit publish, there wasn't a record of what was there before, and you might be able to lose some data or information. Now, if you hit publish, or in this case, direct approve, there will be a record of what was there before. And this is really great because sometimes people will publish things and realize that maybe they missed something or they lost something and they couldn't get it back. But now we have a version of what was there prior to the edit. So again, that is some of the biggest differences in the templates. The way you publish, you no longer have a Submit button, you have a Direct Approve button. The place where you go to find those special features has changed. Well, let's open another. At Resources, we've got one of those blue local folders. Let's see, we don't have one for faculty resources because this has been arranged a little bit differently. We've got one of the blue folders for manager resources. We don't have a widget folder anymore. So the RSS feed for manager resources, we find it right under manager resources in this local content folder. And again, when I'm ready to make a change to it, I will be hitting Direct Approve, just like I do for my page. And then I get a version of what I changed. One of the other things that is very different is the way that you add the custom features to a page. So if you're adding tabs or accordions to a page, that's changed a lot. We will not get into that in this video, but I'm going to show you if you try to add with presentation details, which you would have done before, you're going to get a warning that says there's a different way to do this now. In OIT, we will have somebody available to provide some individual instruction on this as needed. So that's why we're not going to cover it in this video. For those editors who do need to be able to add special features or layouts and forms to pages, we will have somebody who can walk you through this at another time. That's it for today. Thank you for watching and thank you for trying out the new templates.